This was an all-new generation of M3 for 2008, referred to as the E90, replacing the E46 generation before it. In 2008, the M3 was outfitted with a naturally aspirated 4-liter V8 producing 415 horsepower. This was a big deal. This was the first time a V8 was ever fitted into an M3. The 2008 BMW M3 was rated at 14 miles per gallon in the city, 20 miles per gallon on the highway, and as you can see here, the final MSRP was just under $65,000. Alright, so checking out the exterior of this 2008 BMW M3 overall. Well, the first thing you notice is, of course, that massive bulging hood. Lets you know that there's an engine under there that is not to be messed with. And this M3 in particular has the Shadowline package, which means that you get this blacked out grille insert along with the blacked out window trim, and I'm a huge fan of that. I really like it. Also, another little detail about M3s that I've always liked is the mirror design. They always have this little cutout for airflow, and I don't know, kind of just a funny little detail, but I've always loved it about these cars. And then moving along to the rear, you have a wonderful looking quad tipped dual exit, and this is a true dual exhaust system. So overall, the look of this car, especially in black, I really like it. Definitely very aggressive, and again with that Shadowline package just blends it together very well. So overall, really an awesome looking car and a pretty much timeless design. All right, so with all that being said, let's go ahead and get into the interior. Alright, so sitting in the interior of this 2008 BMW M3, right away, of course, we're going to cover the wheel, and it feels awesome. It's really thick, and I love the leather feel to it. I mean, this is awesome, and these grips, honestly, the wheel is just about perfect. This is one of the best wheels I've ever actually just had an experience with, just because like everything is perfect about it. It's just the right size, the material on it. I love it so far, and I can't wait to drive. It's going to be awesome. And just the overall interior, very familiar BMW. And what I mean by that is they've been doing this same kind of general, I don't even know how to describe it really, just this kind of this bar with just the way they do it. I don't know how to say it, but it's always been very similar, and it's a design that works, so why ruin it, and the design in here is nice and clean. The plastics are, there's no give at all. It's a pretty high quality plastic. There is a lot of plastic, but again, it's high quality, so nothing to knock it against here. It's very nice in here, and again, just the resistance on the dials, very good. Interior quality, of course, this is a BMW, so it's what you would expect, and it does its job very well. Everything in here is exactly what you would want. The doors feel very solid. Again, the leather here, the trim, the dials look good. This is a little bit of an older car, so of course it doesn't look brand new. The graphics here, as you can see, aren't as good as they are in the most new cars that are out there on the market, but still very good. This car is aging pretty well, I'd say. You don't really notice anything that gives it away. Say, oh, this must be an old car. Everything feels very good. And of course, moving on here, this does have the iDrive system with this dial here. Not much going on here in the center, pretty plain, but again, it works, and that's all you need. And of course, you have your nice traction control buttons here as well. And just feeling the shifter, BMWs have some of the best gearboxes in the industry, so I cannot wait to get to actually start driving it and see how it feels. So overall, interior quality, very good. I'd give it probably an 8 or 9 out of 10, maybe probably a 9. It's exactly what you would expect, and definitely fits the car very, very well. All right, and of course, from this angle, you can see the seats, which are incredible, by the way. The seats are very comfortable. Love them right off the bat. The thigh bolstering is pretty average, I'd say. There's really not much. It's okay, but not a lot. But the side bolstering is where it really shines. The side bolstering is some of the best I've ever felt. Very secure. You can barely move back and forth here, honestly, with your torso. So feels very good. Seats are comfortable, and I sat in the back a little while ago, and there's not a lot of leg room for the back, sitting behind even myself. I'm not exactly a tall guy, but headroom in the back is not a problem. So kind of a trade-off there, but definitely a lot of room. You could definitely fit a lot of stuff back there, and some people as well. Maybe not for the longest trips, but overall, I think if you're going to buy this car also for practical purposes, you're not going to have a problem whatsoever. So with all that being said, great interior. I'd probably give it an 8 or 9 out of 10 again. But anyway, with all that being said, let's go ahead and start her up and go for a drive. All right, so even though this is a 2008, this is a keyless start, so you just have to have the little key fob here in the car. And you're going to press in the clutch all the way, make sure you're neutral, and go ahead and start her up. right, so setting off in the 2008 M3, right off the bat, like I said, the gearbox feels amazing, smooth as silk, love it. Love the clutch feel, and just very impressed with the overall quality so far. All right, so on a straight bit, we're gonna do an acceleration. Oh my gosh, that felt so good. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm sorry I don't have more time to do this review. It's raining and we're strapped for time, but that little acceleration there felt so amazing. Oh my gosh, I can really see why this is the ultimate driver's car. You know, first time ever driving this thing, get in it, and that gear shift was like perfect. Oh, so smooth here. And just testing out some of the steering feel, you know, absolutely incredible as I'm just driving this thing around on some of the back roads here. And I'm sorry, I did have the window down. I was trying to cool it off. The GoPro was actually overheating and having an issue, but overall, oh my gosh, it really feels good. That gear shift was just perfect. We'll go for 5th. A little bit clunky there on the gear shift, my mistake. But yeah, I'm trying to, it's so much, the clutch is a lot different than the Corvette, but honestly, you know, just getting it right in, it just feels really good, this car, I gotta say. So let's go. We'll go 4th match and go through this curve bit. Oh yeah, key fob falling there. Oh my gosh, yeah, really poised on the, you know, this is a little bit of a heavier car, but you really wouldn't know it driving it. It feels amazing. And then, you know, just getting started here, I'll give you an example at a stop sign. You can see it just, the clutch and the gear, it's so smooth, you know, it really is. It's just a lot smoother than the Corvette. You know, this is the first time I've ever driven this car, and it, you know, I could use a little practice, of course, like you would expect, but I feel like I could drive this car now every day for the rest of my life and not have a problem with it. This is great. Let's test out some cornering bits. The way it dives in, and you know, just overall, I'm impressed with it. I can see why people love this car. I mean, the front is heavy in this, so it dives in, but I'll give you an example. You come up to a corner here, and then you push out and you can fit, but it just pulls you out so well on the torque. And again, sorry for the window, but here we'll downshift. And then, oh man, feels really good. I'm super blown away by this thing. You know, I'm used to the, I hate to always say Corvette, but that's just what I'm used to. So, you know, I'm used to like a pretty light car. It just feels different. So I didn't think this would be so tossable and so, you know, just so responsive, but it's just that good. So overall impression, so overall impressions here, you know, absolutely fantastic. Loving this car. You know, no faults really to speak of so far. All right, so just on my way back to the park here, just some other things I noticed. You know, everything is right where you would want it to be for driving. It really is. Sorry, I put the window back up here. You know, everything is perfectly in reach, and just again, just how natural this gearbox feels is just incredible. It really is. So we'll go 2nd, blip up the throttle and pull. Oh man, that's good. It makes a great sound too. It really does. You know, that's another thing about this car. Awesome sound. So you know, I had a great time driving this thing. I really loved it. You know, I couldn't really find, and I looked, I've been driving it for a little bit, can't really find any faults with it. It's comfortable. It does everything really well, and you get it on a back road like that, and it just really comes alive. You know, it really does. And I can see why this car has such a following. So anyway, as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Always appreciate it. Had a blast today. If you're stopping in for the first time, please subscribe. More content always on the way. And take care, everybody. Have a great day.